dissent outweighs visa backlogs cause reverse brain drain, which increases the risk of conflict due to economic decline. They have no impact defense to economic decline, which means it's try die for the negative. The 1 ER does not extend the no war offense for frigate for the economy, which means that turns the case backlogs mean that new victims won't be able to be proved out. That drop the prisons argument. Backlogs means that people will instead seek asylum, which leads to massive amounts of structural violence through prisons. Even if we lose the utility, our impact outweighs the only argument the two are can go for is not equal, but they conceded a couple of key warrants. First, streamlining sessions asked for increased resources to stop overstress with the plan disrupts that because the immediate nature of fiat means they can't cope with flood of new apps. That's been repeated for fraud detection. More resources are being freed up for fraud detection, but the Kremlin sucks up those resources as Garcia sees the courts are increasing efficiency, but the flood of litigation to verify traffic freedom stories clogs, and the one I was want to see crosses when they said the courts are key. That's fair. Future backlogs don't show the existing effort solves efficiently, and that's the argument, so we don't need to answer it. Yeah. States. The state's counterplan solves the entire EF. The 2AC does not make a warranted or card deficit. Should have a very low threshold for solving the entire EF. They have not made an applicable deficit, which means framing flips our way. You should evaluate the dissat even if it's low risk. 1% of the dissat is sufficient because we still provide all the inroads to all their HR priority and securitization arguments. Error negative risk calculus. The counterplan satisfies the same and even better conditions that solves evil. Running high risk and benefit that must prove a substantive difference between the plan and the counterplan. Even if we win a sliver of our circumvention or deportation deficits of independent reason to vote negative on their framing, we do not have to win the dissat. If we win a circumvention argument, the counterplan grants state citizen policies a new process for continued present status that solves any visa deficit because it would allow traffic victims to obtain the state citizenship. They dropped the traffic return case. I'll go there later and explain it, but nothing stops traffickers from claiming their victims, which causes re-trafficking, but states avoid it because there's a specific law enforcement process and distinct pathway process that must get approved, and the states train law enforcement officials, which means that there's no circumvention applies to the state's cooperation, but it only applies under the TVP. They say cooperation, but the cooperation deficit does not apply. The plan removes the need for victim testimony by enabling better police investigations, prosecution, but the counterplan is based on training and equipping investigators to pursue cases against employers. They do not have to cooperate with the federal government in the world of the counterplan, which solves all of their cooperation bad deficits because their evidence is in the context of federal law enforcement, not local law enforcement. They've dropped that we solve any deportation or circumvention argument. It creates a new process for arrivals, but the apps one-shot visas does not. It also ensures continued presence, which means the sessions cannot interpret it differently, which means that a circumvention only applies to the affirmative. They say modeling, but it's irrelevant. First, the 50 states creating a new policy sufficient to create follow-on because it's not following under the corrupt TV provision, which creates a broader pursuit of trafficking writ large. Because it's perceived as all of the local law enforcement getting on board for trafficking, not just the corrupt federal government like Trump and Sessions. The border deficit was 2 words and is not sufficient worded argument. Also, the continued presence argument still applies because they would still be able to come to the United States. And they say the TVP would apply for T visas, but there's no real advance because the role of the counterplan. They do not have to apply for T visas. That is the whole point of the counterplan. They say sanctuary states with because the immigrants then get protected, but sanctuary cities do not apply. The argument is in the context of sanctuary cities in New York, which the counterplan does not provide. It provides state citizenship, which is distinct from sanctuary cities. And also the 2AC did not read a war in this card. She should not grant them this argument. And the definite status solves the entirety of the affirmative because they do not have to remain in the sanctuary cities. They would get implemented into the state citizenship policies.
Durable fiat also solves that argument.
Yeah, durable fiat also solves that argument. Case. The one-error answer to the circumvent's argument is not sufficient. First, is reasonable compliance. There's no definition of what it looks like, which means the official to get to reject new applications. Fiat does not solve because one-shot policy does not change how it's enforced. Anybody can apply for new visas, which means that any trafficking victim can apply, but they can't under the state's counterplan because there's sufficient enforcement against them. 2 is Trump thumbs. It increases wait time, which links to all of their framing offense, labels communities as traffickers, and turns up enforcement, which means they cannot come into the U.S. or they get deported. They've also dropped the Sessions argument. The app keeps the good moral character requirement in place to approval of trafficking because that ensures he can still turn people away. Empirics proof he turned away domestic violence victims and gang members, which means they would not be able to remain continually in the United States and they would get repatriated, and which links to all the framing offense. 3 framing issues. First is the counterplan and co-ops or offense proves for equaling dams committed to solving structural violence and dissent and reason to ignore the harms just to prefer the counterplan. B turns case meaning we have inroads to enter into their ethnic framing, and it's a massive all costs only voting negative solve. C the app can't perfectly solve, but that means any standard of the counterplan is arbitrary since they're only resolving a sufficient amount of the circumvention arguments. Now prefer consequentialism. Consider both probability and magnitude when weighing the dissent. Anything else devolves into ethically prior questions, which causes serial policy failure. We consider marginally more probable scenarios over those that kill far more people since trade-offs are inevitable. probability making, you should prioritize the solution which saves the most lives. Appeals to probability first fall apart insofar as they have not proven the distance and probability. Only reading a uniqueness argument. All of their arguments rely on the internal link chain faulty, but that does not apply to this. That does not apply when they've dropped all of our arguments.